All right, well, let's start at the beginning. So, 1926,
Correct.
Harper, Texas.
Yeah.
Why Harper, Texas? Were you living in Harper, Texas?
My father was a minister in the church at Harper, Texas.
Okay.
And we lived right in the middle of the village. It was a very small village. The thing that I remember most about that village is they finally built a highway through. And I was about 4 or 5 years old, and my brother and I were just fascinated with all those huge machines.
Yeah.
They had the big graders and the trucks and all kinds of machines. Previous to that, there were no through roads. The roads would go through ranches, and at each ranch had gates. And in order to get through the gates, you either opened the gate or else you bumped the gate with your car, and it would slowly open the gate and let you through. My mother tells me that was such a chore for her to get out of the old Model T when she was pregnant and get out there and open gates for Grandpa.
Was there a hospital in Harper? Were you born?
No, I was born at home. I learned much later in life from a cousin who had seen me as an infant, and she said, well, you seem to be okay. When you were born, your scalp was all torn up. So apparently it was a rather difficult birth. And there must have been a doctor that knew his business. I was not brain damaged, thank God.
Yeah. So then you moved to Gonzales.
When we moved to Gonzales, I was 5 years old, and of course when I was 6, I had to go to first grade.
Yeah.
Well, my dad took me to first grade, and he couldn't remember what my birth date was and all the other information, so he had to get all that information in order to enroll me. And first grade was an adventure. My friend lived down the street, and one day we decided that she would go to school with me. So I took Leela Francis with me to school. Of course, the teacher immediately said, she can't stay, so we had to make arrangements to get her back home.
Was she younger?
She was about 5, I guess, at that time. I was the 6-year-old. And we used the Dick and Jane books. Those were our reading books. And if you've ever used Dick and Jane, you never forget them.
They're still some of your favorites?
Of course.
So when you were growing up, who were some of the relatives or people that were around you when you were a kid then?
My cousins and uncles and aunts all lived in McDade and in that area. And that at that time was a long way. It was about 100 miles. But it was an adventure to go to, we had to go to Austin, Texas, and then make a right to the east and go to McDade.
Yeah.
Or Page, where my grandparents lived. And we always stayed a few days. Katie was my favorite cousin. She's the same age as I am. She's born in June, and I was born in May, same year. But
so you got along as girls as well?
Oh, we had a wonderful time. We were the two gigglingest kids you ever saw. Everything was funny, yeah.
Did you get to see each other often, or maybe once a year?
No, maybe once a year, twice a year at most.
All right, how long were you in Gonzales?
I was there until I was 17 when I went to college.
Okay.
My family lived there about a year longer, and then they moved to Welcome, Texas.
So they lived in Welcome, not Brenham.
Right.
Did they live in, was there a parish connected with the church there that
Yes.
they lived in?
There was a small village not far from the church, just a grocery store and a few houses.
Okay, and there was a parish house there?
Yes, there was a big church there.
So you were suddenly neighbors with the Schultzes at that point?
I was in college, so I really didn't spend much time there.
Yeah. Now, where did you go to college at 17?
I went to Texas Lutheran College in Seguin, Texas, which is not far from San Antonio. My father and my mother had gone there.